All right, so before I get started on the questions, obviously, hello. Oh, there's my dog. And I just want to go over two things that I kind of put out there today to you guys. The first one being my little voice note that I put out today about like figuring out the why when you like start to say an excuse or why you can't. So most of the time our little excuses of why we can't do things are really superficial, right? And they don't actually reach the reason of like why we're choosing not to do it. Um, we like to like, blame our kids' schedules or just our kids or work or everything like that. But the underlying reason is right, is that we're not making it a priority. That's like it. So I wanted you guys to dive into that a little bit more in your own head today of like, okay, I know I'm saying these things like, yeah, my schedule is crazy. I couldn't get to the grocery store. My kids have a lot of games. My baby's not sleeping. But is that really holding you back from doing the things that you're supposed to, or is it because you're just like choosing not to make it a priority? You're afraid of change, like this is the life you've lived for now, possibly 35, 50 years, and you're kind of like afraid to switch your identity a little bit. There's definitely like things going on, and I'm no psychologist in the slightest, but sometimes it's just nice to like talk about that, be like, oh well, you know what? Maybe I'm doing things for that, not doing things for this reason. And just like me being an ear for you to talk to and run through things is, eye-opening. Um, and then the next thing was my story on my walk. So I didn't have the best week last week. You guys know that, right? In my cut, my son's birthday, and I had birthday cake like 6 times. I didn't really go over all that much on calories, but I definitely didn't hit my macro balance great. So Sunday the scale was like 150.4 or something, which is about a pound and a half up from my first week in my cut. Monday, I killed my macros, did my workout, walked 17,000 steps, slept well, had my water. Tuesday, nailed my macros, did my workout, 16,000 steps, had slept well, hit my water. Wednesday, macros, workout, steps 17,000 again, everything. And I woke up today to weigh myself and I was 150.8. So I was 0.4 pounds heavier than I was after a birthday cake week, right? The old me would have went bonkers, probably skipped leg day and done cardio, and possibly really slashed my calories, or been like, hi Theo, um this diet's not working, I'm done, right? But I feel good. I'm sleeping. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to. Possibly I'm growing some muscle under there. Not likely because I am, in a cut, but it could be. I did work out really hard this week, so I'm definitely a little sore. So my muscles are holding some water. Maybe TMI, but my period came today and well, like slash gonna come tomorrow. So that could be a reason. And I didn't like throw it out the window tonight. I stayed with my calories. Tomorrow I'm going to stay with my calories. And what I'm thinking is going to happen is once I rest and my muscles can let go of some of that water, I might see the scale drop. But again, the scale really is such a phony baloney of like your success. Like I can't let that number that I saw today, like take away all the happiness I was feeling with hitting my macros, hitting my steps, working out. Like there's 4 days of doing everything I'm supposed to. That's 30 wins, right? Like macros for 4 days, 4 workouts, 4 days of water, right? That's a 30 great things. And the scale's one bad thing, not even bad, right? So try not to let that scale determine how you're viewing like your success at stuff, because it's really a silly, again, I know it plays a part and we obviously can't ignore it. We can't be, 400 pounds and be like, it's okay. It's just a scale. But it's not the end all. Okay, so first couple of questions. Okay. Life after a cut. This is a great question. So even if you are not in a cut right now, this is a very interesting to know about what comes after, right?
Okay.
So you cannot live at your leanest. So let's say you cut down to 140 in your cut. That is not going to be your new happy number. Okay, you have to try and wrap your head around the fact that like 142 to 143 is going to be your happy number. You can't live at 140 because that means you're going to be in a deficit forever. And we all know if you're in a deficit for a really long time, your body just adapts anyway, and you're going to put weight back on anyway while eating less calories. So you definitely can't live, definitely can't live at your leanest. Okay, so after a cut, there's two options, right? You can you're going to have a new maintenance, right? Because if you lose 10 pounds on your cut, your BMR goes down, right? Your resting metabolic rate because you're less weight, right? If you weigh 400 pounds, you burn more calories just because you're bigger. So if you weigh 200 pounds now, you're going to burn less calories. So even if you lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, you're going to have a new maintenance. Okay, so you're never going to jump back into the calories that you started at because you're hopefully going to weigh less. Okay, so you're going to have a new maintenance, which I will calculate. The two options are you can jump right back up to that maintenance and you'll see the scale go up. It's inevitable, right? So you end the cut on Friday. On Monday, you start the new calories. You're back up to 1900, let's say. You're probably going to see a pound or two come on. If you're in that mental headspace where that's not going to bother you, that's the option you should choose. I'm going to jump right back up to my new maintenance. Okay. Because I know that I'm going to put on a pound or two after this cut. Okay. There's no point of me taking it slow. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm okay with it. The other option is you can do it in like 2 or 3 increments if you want. Okay. So if you're at 1500 calories, one week you can bump to 17, and then the next week you can bump to 19. At the end of the day, it's probably going to be the same thing in that you're going to gain a little bit of weight back, but it might not be like all at once, which might just make you feel better. So yes, the plan after a cut is to go back to maintenance. You don't necessarily need to do a reverse. It's really just in your preference. I'm going to tell you not to, just to go. But if the scale is something that, you struggle with and you'd rather just see slow bumps, then we can do a reverse. So that's kind of the pros and cons. And also another thing, right? If you're in a big deficit, like I'm in a 700 calorie deficit around, I might be someone who does the bumps because that's a big jump. I might not be able to just eat 700 calories more at the drop of a hat. But if you're only in a 300 calorie deficit, you can jump back up to your maintenance pretty easily. Okay, so it's very personal, I guess, and individualized. That was a good question. They're all good questions. Okay, so this next one, how to maintain and keep up your exercise in a cut, pushing past the lack of motivation. So this is a hard one for me, and I don't mean to sound snotty as I answer it, but I love the gym.
Me
So
too.
going to the gym is never something that I like have to amp myself up for. Yes, of course there are days where I'm like, nah, not gonna happen. But that's usually like my 5th workout or my 6th workout. Like my 4 strength sessions happen no matter what, and I love them. So even when I'm in a cut, um, I don't really have to amp myself up for that. But try and think of when you're in a cut, right? You want to cut the body fat to see what? To see your muscles that you work so hard for. So going to the gym is super important still. You might not be growing muscle, but you want to lose body fat in this cut. You don't want to lose muscle. So we still want to maintain. No one just wants to see the scale go down and still be like loosey goosey, right? That's not cute. So um when we want to work out and still, show off the foundation that we've worked so hard for in maintenance. So again, and I know like I always say like discipline over motivation, and I still think that's very important. I just listened to a podcast the other day that was like kind of going against that in the sense where like you can't just always be disciplined and get stuff done. But none of us have a crazy workout schedule. The most days I ever suggest is 4. So we can get 4 workouts in and just think you've worked so hard to get to this point. You're in the fun part now. I know cuts suck, but this is like what you're working for. So we definitely want to maintain that muscle. Um, and a lot of us can still even go heavy and push past weights that we've been doing. Like I'm gonna cut and I'm still going up in numbers, which is not usually what happens, but it's because my cut is almost 1,800 calories, which some of you haven't reached yet for your maintenance. But you can still do great things at the gym. And usually when you get there, your motivation might be low, but in the middle of it, I'm sure you're excited. And when you leave, I mean, again, I've never heard of anyone being upset leaving the gym. Maybe just they're leaving too soon. Okay, that one. Again, if these are your questions or you have questions as I'm speaking, just interrupt me. Okay, the next one. Someone came. Okay. Okay, this is a good one too. It seems that there's a point at which the weight of the dumbbells become too heavy and you must shift to machines if you want progressive overload, even with the VersaGrips. True? Question mark. Yes. For sure. So you can definitely hold a lot of weight with the VersaGrips. And I'm talking like a lot of weight. Like I was doing dumbbell RDLs with 80-pound dumbbells in each hand with them. Yes, my upper body is stronger than most because I've been lifting, but you can push weight. But if you're starting to notice, even with the VersaGrips, it's your grip that's holding you back. Let me know what exercise that is, and we can go to a barbell. Usually that's usually the next step, not always a machine. So for RDLs, I'm going to tell you to probably go to a barbell. For reverse lunges, I'm going to tell you to go to a barbell. For heel elevated squats, you're going to go to a barbell, and then once you surpass the barbell, you're going to go to hack squat. So there's so many ways that we can challenge progressive overload. It's not just by just keep picking up heavier dumbbells, but definitely challenge yourself on those dumbbell weights. Okay. Hopefully that answered. And again, like if anyone has heel elevated goblet squats, the next step is you're going to go to the Smith machine. And then after the Smith machine or a barbell, after that, you're going to go to the hack squat. But I can't really tell if you're ready for that unless you send me videos. Okay. So send videos. I know you might feel weird, but it's important. Okay. Like Jamie, who's usually on here, is a killer in the gym. Like, she's deadlifting 220, she's squatting 175. She sends me videos every single week, and I still critique her form a little bit, still correcting things. Like she was doing step-ups wrong the other day, right? Who would have thought? And thank goodness she sent me it, because she probably would have kept going for her 10-week block doing them incorrectly. She sent me the video, I fixed it. There you go. Week 2, it's done. So I know you might feel weird. Send me stuff. I'm going to help you with form. And I'm going to say, okay, you've passed this point. Let's change it to this. But yeah. Okay. Okay. So my, my time of the month craving question, right? So suggestions for snacks when you're, on your period, getting your period, that chocolate craving, the all or salty. I know it's not the end of the world to eat chocolate, but any fun ideas that you can incorporate, all that stuff. This is a great one for the group. So I'm gonna actually copy and paste this probably into WhatsApp after this, so everyone can kind of give their 2 cents, because once again, I'm so boring. I don't have like period cravings. I didn't have one craving when I was pregnant, and that's really just like, your period hormones amplified. So I didn't have one craving. I didn't have one aversion to any kind of food. I could still eat anything. Oh, is that to me? No. Okay. So, I just love chocolate all the time. So I know I do those Jello bowls. Lily's chocolate is a lower calorie chocolate. Don't think that it's like zero. You can't throw back like all these different treats, but the brand Lily's has like peanut butter cups and chocolate chips that are just a lot less calories than your normal ones. And then if you are local, and I'm sure every state has this, but like a lot of the places that make our macro friendly meals have desserts. So I get these things called Pro Doughs, and they're little protein bites, but they're like they're sweet. The last one I just had was Italian cookie. So that's something that you can do. Apples and Nutella, which this person asked, that's a great snack, right? As long as it fits. Again, I don't want you shaving saving 400 calories for ice cream at the end of the day. but have your snack. I saw this thing on Instagram where they cut up the apple and they just melted a cup, like a half a cup, or not a half a cup, that'd be a lot, a quarter cup of Lily's chocolate, and they drizzled the chocolate over the apples, put it in the fridge, the chocolate hardened, and they had chocolate covered apples. Another one is if you like put cinnamon and apples in a pot and just cook them, that's like delicious. But any kind of sweet desserts, love for the group to share. You guys are more creative than I am. And again, cottage cheese is all the rage. I'm sure you can make it chocolatey somehow. Um, but those are the brands that I like. And again, your snack of apples and Nutella sounds perfect. I think I'm the one person in this world that it's like one of the foods I don't love is Nutella. Um, and so weight fluctuations around your period, right? So I've never been one to track my period until recently. And obviously my weight fluctuates, right? The fact that I'm still up and it can be massive. I know, and I'm learning this from you guys. Really, the more women I coach, the more I see how it affects. It is so individualized. One of our girls here, she like varies like 6 or 7 pounds right before she gets her period. That is
Wow.
crazy. And like finally she's like, okay, I'm not gonna jump off the roof because I know it's coming down, right? And like the day after it's done, she literally loses 5 pounds. That is wild to me.
Oh,
I don't fluctuate that much. I'm like a pound or two, but it's really your own body. There's not much you can do to alter that. That's just how your body does it. Probably holds on to water to just like protect itself a little bit. You obviously have extra blood. Um, you have more hormones pumping through you. You may retain some of the sodium you have a little bit more that week. So that is completely um personal, but just track it, right? See, like maybe keep a note in your phone, like month to month, just to see what it is. And if it's like around the same each time, just kind of realize that's just how your body is. I wouldn't, and it should come off, right? If you're like gaining 5 pounds the day before your period, but then only losing two, something's a little awry there. I also, and again, because I don't have crazy cravings, I guess it's easier for me to say, but I do feel like the media and the health diet industry like makes women feel like they should feel like shit on their period, or like they should crave chocolate, or they should eat bad. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I just think it's been ingrained in us forever to have PMS symptoms and like you're just automatically like a bitch who likes chocolate the day before your period. Um and that's clearly not true. Like I've never like I don't, again, maybe people get a little bit more emotional and like again, your hormones are up and down, but it's also okay to feel okay on your period. Like don't think you're weird if you don't feel bad or you don't crave things. Like I know in the exercise world sometimes people are like you should train differently depending on your phases of your cycle. And that could be true for you. But if you still feel strong in the gym no matter what phase you're in, then that's also okay. Like you don't need to like not lift in your luteal phase because like some science says, you're not feeling as good. If you feel fine, then that's awesome. Don't think that you're supposed to necessarily have these wild emotions and not feel strong and only do yoga during your luteal phase. Like again, it's very, very customized to the person. Um, and again, if you feel fine and you don't crave things, cool. Um, Okay. And then, yes, the last one, Mother's Day weekend. What foods, drinks should we avoid at restaurants? So, you know my answer with this. We shouldn't avoid anything, but like just an overall health thing, right? Like we want to stay away from fried stuff. So like your chicken parm, that's probably fried, or like the melted cheese over things. Or like the thick creamy sauces, stuff that you guys know. No one in this group is like, no way, that wasn't healthy. Like you know it. You just chose to eat it. Again, carbonara is like one of my favorite dinners in the whole entire world. I eat it every once in a while, but realize that the choices you make are going to impact Monday and Tuesday and whatnot. Your body's gonna hold on to it. Drinks. I know this is like a joke now on social media, but have a mimosa with a little bit of orange juice. I know obviously orange juice is not a bad thing for you.
is that 90s?
and it's sugar and it's actually a lot of calories. So if you can just squirt a little bit of orange juice in there, do it. Have a glass or two of champagne. Don't have the drink with 64 juices in it. Even if they say like muddled fruit, like all my bartenders probably here know, there's juice in 99% of these things, right? So stick to the clear, stick to the 0 calorie sweeteners. And honestly, like having a glass of wine is probably better than having a glass of cranberry juice. So there you go. There's your permission. Stick with it's supposed to be pretty nice out. So like, your fresh fruits, your fresh vegetables, things that you can track easily. Like Penny's plate before, right? On the group chat. Effing impossible to track that. I don't expect now. So I'm actually so glad she sent that because you guys are going to have plates like that when you're out sometimes. If it's a buffet or you're at a backyard barbecue, you're going to have plates with like 7 different dishes on it. I don't expect you to log each dish like, half a cup this, maybe 20 grams here. Pick your 2 biggest portions of like, so hers looked like pork and like rice was 2 of her biggest things. Google in MyFitnessPal, pork and rice dinner, Applebee's. Log it. Okay. It's probably going to be somewhat similar to what's on the plate. The macros might not be exactly spot on, but the fat's going to be higher. The carbs are going to be higher, and you're going to get a decent amount of calorie base. Also, feel free to send me a picture of your plate. I don't mind getting these and I can help you. But again, you want to stick to the baked or the grilled. If you're going to drink, stick to the again, always kind of pick. Don't go balls in both. Don't slam back 2 bottles of wine and get the chicken parm, right? Like slam back 2 bottles of wine and get the grilled chicken with zucchini and fresh vegetables. Or stick to 1 champagne and get the chicken parm. Okay. But try and get your steps in, try and get your water in. And again, and just realize Monday's scale is going to reflect even the best decisions because you're out probably or you're at someone else's house and you can't control exactly what they put in. But everyone here who's a mom, you enjoyed to have it, you deserve to have a very great day on Sunday. I'm sure you're still going to be doing a million things for your kids and for yourself. But enjoy it. In about like 2 weeks, I thought I would do this summer Zoom. And honestly, guys, nothing about summer is a secret. It's very much how I tell you guys to handle any social event. Like, if you know you're going to do something, whether it's a backyard barbecue or go over to Fire Island or, go away, get your steps in, get your workout in, save calories for the event, and make the most intentional decisions you can at the event. Summer's not the time to like not log, right? You don't want to quit things when you're busy, right? So imagine like you owed a lot of money. That's not the time you want to stop budgeting, right? That doesn't make sense. So if a lot of events are coming up, that's not the time you want to not track because that's where you're most likely to go rogue, right? So if anything, the summer is a very important time to have guidance because there's so many things coming up. And even if you don't think you're going to do this well, having someone to look over your shoulder and to check in with is going to hold you more accountable than not. So just, staying here, logging the best you can, committing to your workouts will make this summer probably a lot less stressful than, others where you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. All right, that was a lot of me talking. Does anyone have any other like questions? I know there wasn't a ton this week. I didn't have any like specific topic. Oh, so like resisting sweets. I know it's super hard. And I feel like with stuff like that, with me with alcohol and me with sweets and whatnot, I'm like either all in or all out. Like I can't go to an event and have like a dabble of something. So I like to tell myself I'm either gonna have like none of it or I'm just gonna go for it. But again, like maybe bring gum, get your hands full of something, right? Hold a water and a glass of wine so you don't go crazy on the dessert plate. get a very tiny dessert plate, like the smallest size you can find. So you can't just have it piling over, right? We're just very natural in wanting to fill our plates. So get the smallest plate you can. Okay, take little pieces, go sit down somewhere. Don't stand over it. And then you can like if you're going to be like, okay, I'm done. If you're going to physically get back up, go back to the dessert table and fill it up again, then there's really not much I can tell you to do because you made that decision. But again, if your plate is a quarter of the size of what it might have been, that'll help you. I also know, like, if you love sweets more than savory, save room for sweets. And again, it's also Mother's Day. Make yourself happy. If you're eating at your own house, prep some, stuff that's a little bit more healthy. If you're going somewhere, bring something, right? So I know, like I said this before in a couple of Zooms, that I always like to bring a dish that I know is a little bit safer. So I know I can stick to that. So like bake something or make a dessert that you'll like, but it's a little bit more macro friendly, and then eat that. And bubbly drinks. So if you like seltzer, not alcoholic, is a good way to like kind of fill your belly too. So if that's a trick, if you drink like 4 seltzers at wherever event you're going, you're going to be more full. That's something you could try. Caffeine's always an appetite depressant. Sometimes I bring huge iced coffees places if I don't want to drink, because at least like my hand's full, I have a drink I like. I'm not as like inclined to dive in. So I travel with coffee when I try and like not eat a lot or something else, just so my hands are busy. See you on that treadmill, Steph. Way to go. Fit life.
I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
Yes, I
Put
love it.
Theo down. Kevin came home from physical therapy. I
Good.
have to get it done.
Good for you. Proud of you.
It's like I have a rough week. You already know, CJ.
Yes, you
And
need
it's
that.
gonna be a rougher weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we just gotta get out.
Yep. Get out, get your steps in. You got it. Get your mind somewhere else for now.
So I did want to say though, you were talking about like sweets and cravings. When I was pregnant, I read somewhere, like, I didn't crave anything pregnant, but like I just eat everything.
That's why.
But everyone always asks me like, well, what are you craving? And I'm like, everything. No, but like, and I read somewhere, I heard something like, when your body's craving something, it's because you're like missing something else. It's like an imbalance.
Yes. I read that too. That's so you can definitely look right. So if you're craving like sodium or like salty snacks, it's because you're not hydrated enough. That's like one of the biggest things.
Wow.
I forget what the because you're like, sodium holds water, so therefore your body's telling you like, if I eat something salty, I'll be thirsty, and then she'll give me water. So like your brain, our bodies are so smart. So that's like one of the reasons people crave salty food. So try and if you're a salt person, have like a huge glass of water, and then if you're still craving that salt, go for it. But that'll help. Sweets, I forget, but I can look it up.
Yeah, but like you've been doing this for a while, like and all that stuff. So like that's probably like why during your pregnancy you never really like
Yeah, maybe that's a good point.
crave
I'm a little bit
like your
imbalanced.
yeah. But that's what I read. So
Yeah, that's a good thing to look up. So depending on what you crave to, and again, like I'm never gonna be like, you do need some willpower, right? A little bit, but I my willpower stinks, right? Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not someone who's like, put a pizza in front of me. I know my goals. No, I'm gonna fucking eat the pizza. Like I my willpower is not great. So do all you can to kind of remove yourself from the triggers that you know you have. So if that means go to a different room, leave the party maybe a little bit early before dessert's served. Like I do that a lot with my kids because I know at my in-laws' house, right, there's always dessert after dinner. So I'll take Rory back home with me to get ready for bed when I'm using her as an excuse to get the heck out of there before dessert. So think ahead, plan ahead, save your calories. Some of you have better willpower than I do. I know a lot of you already do because like sometimes I hear stories about you going to like even Jamie the other day. She went to a wedding, she had 1 drink. Good for you. I probably wouldn't have done that. But that's why a lot of you are better than me. I'm just here to help. Oh, night, Sarah. All right. Anything else, my lovelies? I know this is a quick one. Oh, it's already 8 though. Well, Everyone's workouts going good. Steps should be booming with this weather. All right, get out and walk. It is so nice. I know a lot of you guys obviously have jobs that are inside, but I've been pushing back my lunch a little bit so I could go outside on my lunch and walk, as you can tell from my lovely walking stories on Instagram. But it gets me 5,000 steps in a 40-minute period. It's unbelievable. But it's obviously not doing anything because I'm not losing any weight. Just kidding. Anything else? I think of who's here.
CJ, how long are you gonna stay in your cut for?
It's kind of open-ended. I'm gonna see how these next like 2 weeks goes, and if the scale's not moving, I may increase cardio or even go more into a deficit. No longer than 12 weeks. But if the scale is like super budging, I kind of have to see if I want to go for it and dive in or just be fine with where I'm at. So mine's a little bit up in the air because I don't really have any goals. And I actually listened to this one podcast, Lifting Lindsay. I think I've sent it to you guys a couple of times, that she had a friend, a bodybuilder friend, that no matter how high her maintenance got, right? Like her bodybuilder friend was eating like 2,500 calories. She wouldn't lose weight unless she dropped below like 1,400. Her body just like would adapt very quickly. So I'm no bodybuilder, but I wonder if like, because I'm still at 1,790, so that's still high. But I was eating 24. So I'm curious to see if my body's kind of adapting like that just because of all the past diets I've put myself through. Which is why I want you guys to stop dieting. All right, so before we sign off, it's Thursday. The recipes were sent. So hopefully you guys took like 20 minutes just to get ideas in your head for what you're going to meal prep next week. Again, keep it super.
CJ, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, hi, Mindy. Why are you
It-
your face and your name aren't up? I didn't even know you were
I
here.
know, I know. I'm too tired and gross and don't want to be on camera. Um, so logically, it doesn't make sense. If you've been in maintenance for as long as you've been, which is a long time, why wouldn't you be losing weight? Because I don't want to be like that when I'm ready to cut. And it's getting me kind of upset.
Well, the first 2 weeks I did, right? But then I kind of had a rough week last week. I was down to 148, so I was down. But then I plateaued. I went back up a little bit with my Rustin week, and I
You're
wasn't
saying
adhering.
2 pounds was a weight loss? I mean, like,
My
I mean,
original
I could
2
spit
pounds
and
were
lose two
probably like
pounds.
what?
I could spit and lose 2 pounds.
Yes. Again, but it's gonna take a little bit more for me because I don't really like. I'm already at 17%, or I was at 18% body fat, so I'm gonna be I'm not the best example. And I got to listen to that podcast again. Mindy, I think you listened to it because it was definitely when we were like going back and forth with Lifting Lindsay, where she talked
Hmm.
about the fact that her friend just her she needed to do like significant deficits in order to lose. But I got to refresh my brain. But I'm definitely not the best example right now because I was not adherent last
Right.
week.
I just would think if I was adherent and I dropped 500 calories or 600 for my maintenance, you
Oh
should be
yeah.
losing weight.
Oh yeah, and I did like the first 2 weeks I did.
What are
So
you doing wrong, CJ? What's up
I
with
had
that?
birthday cake 6 times last week. That's what I'm doing wrong, Mindy. I've said
For
it 10
you. Well
times.
done.
Stop
I'm
making me
sorry.
admit it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But
I
this
didn't mean
week
to make you do that.
on Sunday, well, I'm on my period now, so that might be like a 5-day buckaroo. So next Sunday, if I'm not down, I might be calling it. Actually, I'll probably go down a little bit less because this is not really like miserable for me. And a cut should be like
Okay.
miserable, and it's not. I'm also, I don't know if anyone wants to like hear
Well,
this.
keep us updated.
I will. I'm very I would much rather not eat than eat a little bit. So recently, like I've been 500 calories up until 5 o'clock at night. And then I eat my 1,200 for dinner and dessert. Which is another reason why the scale might not be in my favor because I eat so many calories so late and then I weigh myself at 5:30 in the morning. So the weekend is when I really start to see if the scale is listening to me. Like because on this morning when I weighed myself, I ate 1,100 calories after 8 o'clock at night. So I had a lot of food in my stomach. Um, but I would rather like not eat for hours and then have big meals. So that if anyone's going into a cut and you don't mind fasting, that's kind of like a nice little avenue. Only if that's what you like. It's very, again, individualized. Anything from my mysterious iPhone people? Okay, so plan some meals. I know it's Mother's Day on Sunday, so figure that day is going to be, nothing's going to happen. Okay. Even if, it's a normal day for some of us, which is probably going to be for me. Sunday, you're not going to prep. So maybe Saturday, you go grocery shopping and you prep your meals. Like you cut your vegetables, you cut your chicken, you put it in a Tupperware, you put it in the fridge. And then for an hour on Sunday or even Monday night, that's when you cook, right? So look ahead in the fact that Sunday might be, out of commission. Don't be like, don't text me on Monday and be like, I didn't prep because, Mother's Day. Mother's Day comes every year, right? No surprise. Let's plan for it. Okay, so maybe go grocery shopping tomorrow, plan and prep on Saturday, still get it done. The week goes on, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure Father's Day, the next day they have off on Monday. Is that no surprise to anyone? But yet we have to go back to work. Ha! Shocker.